Martians. This is a story about Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And of course, you've probably already seen this on the news. There's a lot of problems down there. Evidently, the Mexican police, in a shootout, killed a high ranking member of the Mexican cartel. And as a result of that, a lot of the cartel members got their panties bunched up, and they have been burning vehicles and harassing people in Puerto Vallarta. Well, anyway, this is about Puerto Vallarta because I spent a lot of time down there. And I first went to Puerto Vallarta in the late 60s, and I was down there a couple times in early 70s as well. And back then it was really a paradise. Nothing like it is today. As today it's um, overrun with tourists, and then of course crime is off the charts down there. Anyway, it was a lot different back then, and this story is going to be about um, some people I met in Vallarta. And when I went down there, I was at a beach called Mismaloya. And of course, today, Mismaloya is it's all tourists. They have hotels there on the beach, and it's horrible place to go. But back then, it was pristine. There was no hotels and Ms. Maloya. And I was there with some friends of mine I used to hang out with. And what happened is when I was an iron worker, that I was an iron worker back then, and I could get as much time off as I wanted. And I spent anywhere from 3 to 5 months down in Mexico, Central America, South America, and anyway, most of that time was spent in Mexico, and I did that for 8 years in a row. Anyway, this story starts out in Puerto Vallarta on Mismaloya Beach, and we're on the beach there. Like I said, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, pristine, and I saw this couple. They were out in a jet boat, two Americans, and they swam the shore. And I had a friend of mine used to uh, buy jet boats back in Gary, Indiana, and we'd hang out Lake Michigan on the jet boats. So I was very, very familiar with jet boats, and I complimented him on his boat, and turned out this couple was from San Diego, and he invited us to come up to his condo that he was staying at, and he was staying in a condo. They call it, the name of it was Tizak condos. They were fairly new, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was located on the Gold Coast in Vallarta, and built right into a cliff right across the highway from the ocean. And all the units had individual pools, swimming pools. It was beautiful. I mean, really, really high end. And so anyway, he we help him pull the jet boat out of the water and hook it up to his vehicle. And he was driving Jeep Cherokee, limited edition, brand new, all black. It was loaded, everything. And I thought, wow, that's really incredible. Anyway, we get in his Jeep Cherokee, and he takes us up to his condominium. And like I said, it was beautiful. So we had a cookout up there, and he happened to have some marijuana, that was from the Emerald Triangle back in California. And like I said, they were from San Diego, but he had stopped off and bought. I think he must have had about at least a kilo uh, uh, in individual packages, ounce packages of marijuana coming from the Emerald Triangle, Mendocino, and that's actually for the U.S. That's some of the best marijuana that they grow in the U.S. So anyway, he had taken packages of marijuana and he stuffed them in the exhaust on his jet boat when he came through immigration. So they never picked up on it. And he had that down there. So, of course, he breaks that out and it's all tops. I mean, really primo, primo. Um, anyway, so we're bullshitting, and he happened to mention that he did a little time in Folsom, and I don't doubt that because of what he did to get the boat and uh, the car. And he told us he told us that he had put the minimum down on the car where he'd have payments, and he did the same thing with the boat, the jet boat. And then he got his girlfriend that he was staying with in San Diego and came down to Mexico in the boat or in the car towing the boat. And he had no intentions of ever paying off the loan that he took on the boat or the car. I mean, it's like, what I don't know what he was thinking about, but anyway, that's the story he told us. And so, anyway, we were hanging out, of course, at his place, and we started spending a lot of time with this couple. They were a lot of fun, and we'd went to like Chico's Paradise. That was another place they'd hang out, and we went to a bar called El Set, which was also located on the Gold Coast. And when Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor made that movie, um, what was that movie? Something about the iguana. I can't remember the name of the movie, but anyway, it was a very famous movie. And they hung out at this bar, which was named El Set because the whole movie set used to hang out there, and it was right on the boat on the ocean. Beautiful. You'd walk down the stairs from the bar to a very private beach, and oh, the waters were crystal clear. It was really nice back then. And anyway, getting back to this guy and his girlfriend, we spent quite a bit of time with him while we were in Vallarta, and it was a year later we ran into this guy in Vallarta again, but by this time he had a real sad story. He had the jet boat. Somehow he sank the jet boat. He didn't have any money to retrieve it. I'm sure somebody retrieved it, but he wasn't going to pay for it anyway. So it didn't mean too much to him. And the boat sank right there in Mismaloya, and the car, uh, he lost the car. Somebody took it, and of course he overstayed his 6 month visa because this was a year later that we ran into him, and he wasn't staying at the Tizoc condos anymore. He was living on the beach and homeless with one set of clothes. And I thought, I don't know what his malfunction was, but That's the last time we saw him. He was on the beach and he was trying to bum money off of us, and uh, I was never one for loaning out money to anybody. I'm not a bank, and you don't do that. And for you feather merchants out there, this is something you should pay attention to. If somebody asks you to borrow money, just tell them you're not a bank. And what will happen if you give them the money? Uh, the chances of them paying it back are not very good. And so what's going to happen is you're going to lose your money that you loan them, and you're going to lose a friendship. And when you say no, you're not going to give them any money, you're going to lose your friendship. So that's much better than losing the money too. So just keep that in the back of your head. Well, anyway, uh, the reason I told this story is I've been reading about Puerto Vallarta in the news. They're burning vehicles, and the State Department of State, told Americans down there to shelter in place because all the businesses were shut down, restaurants were shut down. Uh, it's totally different than it was when I was down there. And even in the 70s, I remember there was another couple that I had met in San Blas, Nayarit. I hung out there for several months at a time, and that was just a little fishing village at the time. But anyway, I'd met this couple down there, and uh, I ran into them again in Puerto Vallarta. They were living in Puerto Vallarta, and this was in the mid, maybe late 70s when I ran into this couple again. And they had said that they were actually moving from Puerto Vallarta because it was changing. Even back then, it was changing. And they said that the city was actually dumping their sewage right into the ocean, Stupid. You got this pristine uh, location in Mexico, and they're going to start dumping their sewage into the ocean. They even told us, they said, don't go down to the beach anymore. It's polluted. So anyway, we didn't. And anyway, that was just a story I wanted to tell you about Puerto Vallarta, how it used to be, and uh, what it is today. And I still have know people that vacation in Mexico, and I've warned people against that. I always thought I was going to retire there in those early years. I loved Mexico. That was a really a cool place to hang out, and I know that Mexico really well because almost all of the trips I had down there, I drove down there. So I drove all through the mountains down around Durango and down to Mazatlan on the coast, and all the way into Puerto Escondido, when that was the end of the highway. And Puerto Escondido was a little fishing village south of Acapulco. Of course, I had been in Acapulco too, Mexico City, Guadalajara. I was all over Mexico, and like I said, I loved it back then, but it's not the same anymore. And nothing else is either. But anyway, you feather merchants, I hope you enjoyed the short story, and I'm going to be on the Gray Line. It's a podcast, The Gray Line Behind the Blue Line, scheduled for March 4th, and it should be an interesting segment. They're going to question me about the Diane Whipple murder that happened in San Francisco, where two AB members, Cornfed Snyder and his cellie, Dale Britches, they were celled together in the security housing unit, and they had talked these two attorneys into taking care of these fighting dogs for them that they were raising. And I actually met these two attorneys um, back in the 90s before they got involved in the Aryan Brotherhood and these AB members. And I'm going to talk about that because I met them before they ever lost their minds because they actually adopted Cornfred Snyder. Anyway, it should be an interesting segment. And you feather merchants, it's going to be March 4th. So if you have time, you can tune in. Anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. All right.